what we have done, a small recap, very small. Characteristics of engagement. What is the strategy? We have to think in terms of the characteristics. We are talking about the reporting objectives. We are talking about the significant factors, what we have to do. The most important thing, how we have to do it, we have to proceed in planning factors, okay? Or it's simple. This is the basic introduction. We are not talking about any advanced thing. This is the basic principles which you have to work it out, okay? We have to think in terms of nature of timing, in terms of our audit team. We have to think about the budget also, okay? We have to think about whether we are having the budget. Now, what is the characters? Say when you go to the client place, okay? When you think about the client, the most important thing is whether the client is preparing the financial statements with respect to financial reporting framework. Is that the same way? Is that I'm just giving you a hint. Wherever it is possible, okay? Why I am doing this? I am doing this just to make sure that you should remember. Is that the financial, what are the elements, what are the qualitative characteristics? You will have the conventions, concepts will be there. Is that you have the conventions will be there. Is that you have the qualitative factors will be there. Is that qualitative factors will be there. You have talked about the elements will be there. Is that all this will be there. This is the basic where we are talking in terms of preparation of financial statements. Now, what is the industry specific reporting requirements? What they expect? What do we talk about the industry specific? Industry, when we are talking about which type of industry it is there, is it we are talking in terms of banking industry? There is a banking law will be there. Okay, we are talking in terms of you will do big hospitals. You should know to whom they are reporting. We should know in terms of it is with respect to telecom industry. We have to be very specific. If we are taking into consideration aviation, is it airline industry, we have to be very specific about what are the requirements of industry specific. Expected audit coverage, is that how much you are going to do. I will tell you, it is little bit initially. Later in this chapter we will work out in detail whether you are talking in terms of interim audit or you are talking in terms of final audit. Interim audit is continuous audit. Interim audit as well as the final audit, both will be carried out by the external statutory auditor only. Okay? In interim audit, we do in detail. Is it right? We do in detail. We will do in detail. Whereas in final audit, we will be very selective. Okay? We will be very selective. On behalf of a statutory auditor, keep it in mind, both will be done by the statutory auditor only. Is it? Nature of business segments. Okay, nature of business segments. How the business has been spread over various places. Is that if we have done with respect to in financial reporting, I think so, or something with respect to SBR. Yes, I think financial reporting, there is a concept called as segment reporting. Mugid, which IS standard, Mugid, for IFRS it is there for segment reporting?
Sir, IFRS 8.
IFRS 8. How the business has been segmented, which is, we have to have a small understanding about these things. Next, most importantly, when you are carrying out the availability of internal audit, how the internal, most importantly, we have to think that the internal audit should be effective. If internal audit is for controls are effective, automatically what will happen? Our risk will be less. Is it right? If controls are effective, risk will be less. How internal auditor is executing or doing his job is a very much importance to us. Is that internal? Now, use of service organizations. We need any support, okay? We need any support, expert advice. We have to plan all these things in advance, okay? We have to plan everything in advance. In terms of survey, we need any organizations or any legal services we need any other services, expert services we need. We have to make sure that it has to be available on hand. See, in simple procedure, see, it is not, nothing is different. You are planning a work. With that, when you are planning the work, we should have everything should be done in advance. What we are doing for our usual activity, we do so much, we take so much care. Audit planning, we have to taking all the aspects related to auditing. We also make sure that how effect of information technology on audit procedures. Is it? How now see, if you take into consideration as of now, if you take the audit that happening right now, it is almost on the IT platform. 90% of the audit is done on IT platform. You should know if you are dealing with the audit, what is the role of IT and how we have to work with the information technology. And most importantly, availability of client, personal, it is nothing but the staff, it is nothing but the employees, and data is nothing but with respect to financial information. You have to keep them in advance that yes, we are working on, we are coming on this. They also have to be prepared that yes, auditors are coming. We have to have a dedicated staff. Is right? These are the characteristics of engagement. Subsequently, what happens, see, where you are talking about a reporting objectives, timing of the audit and nature of communication. Now, almost you are at the middle phase. We have done extensively, elaborately. Is it right? We should know entities timetable for reporting. We should know that yeah, we are not supposed to write anything more than that. Understand what I am telling you very carefully. We are not supposed, only we have to write what are the reporting objectives. You have to write entities timetable for reporting. When we have to report, what we have to do, what in the first first day usually you will have, you will understand how the things are working. Subsequently, we will plan it accordingly. We will make a strategy. Once we go there, we will see how the internal controls are working. First, you will have observations. Straight away, you will not go and sit and you will just verify the things. Is right? Organization of meetings with the management and those are, we will discuss. There will be initial meetings. Is right? You will have initial meetings will be there, initial discussions will be there. You will have meetings during the audit. Is that you will have meetings during the audit, and once you are coming end of the audit, again you will have the meetings. You have to organize the meetings with the persons of the management and charge. Discussion with the management, again we should organize, we should have discussion and expected communication with third parties. When we say it is third parties, is it that third parties means you have expected communication in terms of who are the third parties? Third parties are banks. Third parties are the people who are from where we are going to have receivables. Third parties are the people where to whom we are going to have the payables. Clients are going to pay. Is that we have to get confirmation from them. Okay, the closing balances. Is that third parties are with respect to inventory. Isn't it? If inventory is at the third party location, we have to get confirmation. Third party is with respect to property, plant and equipment. If you are talking, what will happen? Some property will be owned. Okay, some property will be leased. Some property will be rented. Is that you are expecting communication with the third parties. What are the various things? We all cover this. Don't worry about that. We will all cover this at a later stage. How the communication is. There is some specific standard for written communications. Is it right? Now, when you are doing the things, what are the significant preliminary engagements and knowledge gain on other? What we'll do the moment you are going for an audit, you will see what happens with respect to other engagements, similar engagements. If you have the experience with similar type of industries, you will use that knowledge. Yes, it happens in this type of the banking sector. You will say that yes, we have done in this banking sector like this, in this bank, what are the things. You will have the experience. You will have the experience how you know where the things will go wrong. Is it right? First and foremost, you will have determination of materiality. Is that we have done in the previous case? Is it right? We have done in the previous lecture that for the sales, this much is the materiality. You will have the overall materiality. You will have the performance materiality. Is it? First, we will have initially we will think that yes, this is the materiality. If the risk is high, then automatically you will increase the materiality. But initially you will fix that yes, materiality will be 4% of revenue. Materiality will be 2%. Likewise, we will fix. It's your assumption, it is your judgment. Okay. Now, areas you are identifying which are having higher risk of material misstatements. Yeah, where there is higher risk of material see higher risk of material. I am giving you an example. Mostly where there will be this. What are the most critical areas? The most critical areas is property, plant, and equipment. Valuation will be there. Rights and obligations will be there. Is it the most highest? We are the materiality will be high. It is a very high risk. High risk will be there where in most of the cases inventory valuation. It's a very, very high risk, is it right? Because see the thing, if you take the balance sheet, is that if you take the balance sheet on the asset side, okay, almost more than 60% of the assets will comprise of property, plant, and equipment. If you take the income statement, if you take the major component is inventory, sales minus cost of goods sold or cost of sales, opening inventory plus purchases minus closing inventory. How much is the if you take gross profit is 25%, it means that how much is the inventory contribution? Inventory contribution will be almost 75%. That is the reason people are very much concerned. In the examination they will ask, these are the questions you can expect, that the procedures, substantive procedures for the property, plant, and equipment, substantive procedures for the inventory. Another, if you take the second part, is it a second part? Higher risk will be there. Higher risk will be there in terms of salaries, in the terms of payroll. These areas we have to be very focused. I'm not saying these are the few areas. You should not go with a predetermined mind. You should identify which areas having the higher risk. And most importantly, you have to review what are the previous audits. It's like I'm telling you very simple. I'm telling you in recording. You are going for a driving. When you are going for a driving test, what the person will do, what the officials will do, officials will see your book. They will go to the back pages. When they go through the back pages, they will see what are the mistakes you have done. Then what happens? They will test, or they will see that whether you have corrected the mistakes or not. Again, I'm saying you are going for a driving license. When you had driving license, what the officials will do? They will see the back pages. In the back pages, previous mistakes what you have done. Have you corrected those mistakes or not? As an auditor also, that is also an audit. That is what it is happening with respect to audit. You also have to make sure that when you are going for an audit, you have to see what previous audit reports. Is there results? What are the results? Whether they have made any corrections, whether they have made any improvements. Is it right? Whether they have made any improvement, they have added any additional controls. Is it? They have added any additional controls to make that the risk will be less. Is that is the reason you will get an idea, yes, how the thing. They should be always need to maintain professional skepticism. I don't want to say again and again. It is nothing but you have to have a questioning mind. And most importantly, evidence of management commitment. Is that, see, the most what is the it is the management responsibility to have a sound internal controls. How far the management is committed for this? Is that how far the management is committed? Internal, you can judge. The most important thing in our in the subject is FA controls. If the management, if we cover in detail, we will cover step by step. We cover from multiple aspects. We are going to cover internal controls. Okay, evidence of the what is the commitment and how they are designing, implementing, and maintenance of sound internal control systems. What we are doing now, when you are going for an audit, what will happen? See the thing. You will also see how you cannot see you are what you are doing. You are only working on what you are only working on the sample basis. Volume of transaction. If the volume based on the volume of transaction, you you do the sampling. Is it right? You do the sampling. You also see how much is the transaction. So basically, just as for our understanding, we will see whether they are cash transactions or whether bank transactions. If there are few cash transactions or more, definitely you will have a higher risk. If there are bank transactions, the risk is less. That is the reason now you see the thing, that the transformation that's happening in the external world. Okay, we are not using cash most of the time. Is it right? We use the cards. We use online payments. Is it? I'm not saying that by using the cards or by doing the online payments the risk will be less. Risk will be there. Every factor, every element, every transaction, every type of procedures, there will be a risk element. But the risk will be different from one situation to another situation. But when you are dealing with cash, definitely the risk will be comparatively higher. Is that? Now, significant any business developments with respect to the client. Any changes happens in the management structure. Is that any changes happens in the management structure? Very important. We have to consider. Is that? We have to think over it. Any changes with respect to the products or services. Anything happen with respect to diversification. In some cases, what happens if any business units has been closed down, discontinued operations. Is there any discontinued operations has been taken place? Likewise, we means what we are doing. See, we should understand how it is like an introduction. Okay, it is like an introduction, a comprehensive introduction about the client. Is it right? Now we are not talking only about the client. We are also talking about the industry developments, industry regulations. Is it right? Any regulations has been came into effect. Is that any? We have to think about rules. We have to think about regulations. We have to also think about the compliance. See the thing now, as you as an auditor, you are covering the very broader canvas. Is that the canvas is not small? The canvas is a huge. I'm not saying that. See, over a period of that is the reason when they say that they will say they will tell you in the question you are an audit manager. They will tell you in the question you are an audit senior. They will tell you that you are an audit junior. Likewise, automatically you have to place yourself in that position. Is that in that position? What are our responsibilities? Industry developments, any rules and regulations, any changes happen in the industry as such. Significant changes in the financial reporting framework. You have to keep. You must. I will not say you have. You must keep updates about accounting standards. You must keep updates about reporting standards. Is that I had told in the one of the classes, previously we have IS 18 revenue. Now they have replaced IS 18 with IFRS 15. Changes will be there, is it right? Changes will be there every day. That is the reason if you take ACCA, is it right? If you take ACCA, if you go to the website, is it right? If they will have the bulletin, they will have the bulletin. Every 3 months they will come up with any changes has been taken place, they will publish. Is there any changes has been taken place in the accounting standards or reporting standards, they will publish. They will come up with a general. Is that this is what it says. I told you. After April 15th, focus on the website. There is some technical articles will be there related to F8. Okay, technical. You read. Why I am saying after April 15th? By that time you will have a complete understanding about what happened. After that, you are reading technical articles. You will understand how it has been integrated or calibrated. Is that another thing? Any other recent change developments has been happening with respect to the client? Is that with respect to the client, with respect to the industry? Is that with respect to the country also? Okay, with respect to the country also, which is going to have impact on the business, which is going to have impact on the financial statements. Is that these things we have to be little bit more specific. Next point: nature, timing, and extent of resources. Is that see, as a matter of fact, you are an audit senior, you are an audit manager. You will make sure that you should have a good team, a qualified, experienced people. See, experienced people makes things easy for us. Is that experience? I'm not saying that we should have a combination of experience and junior. In some cases, what the work done by the juniors will be reviewed by the seniors. Is it? Team should be more. Now, not only experience, we should have a very diversified. See, I will say now that you are talking in terms of, we will cover so many subjects. Understand one? Even you take accounting also, we will cover property, plant and machinery, equipment. We will cover inventory. We will cover earning per share. We will cover dividends. Is it? We will cover dividends. We'll cover share capital. We are talking in terms of financial instruments. Is that financial instruments is a big ocean, as a matter of fact. Is it right? It's a big. We are having so many different topics. We cannot have an expertise in each and every area. We know the basics. Studying is different, application, applying and experiencing is different. We cannot expect and we cannot think that we can become expert in. We will have our own preferences. Now, when you are having the team, you should select the team when we select the team, we say that this person is good in property equipment. This person is good in equipment, inventory. Some people are good in purchases. They know, they have done again and again. They have a good experience with respect to purchases. Some people are good, some auditors are good in sales. Some people are good in tax. Is it? Likewise, when you are having an audit team, engagement team, you should have a good combination. Most importantly, once you have the team, then you are giving assignment to team members. Keep it in mind. This will be there in section A. Is that this type of, they ask, again I say, in the question they will ask very clearly, which two of the following? Is that? They will say, which two of the following? They will give 4 options and we have to select 2. 2 marks. One you have done right, they will give 1 mark. Understand the point? If you have done one right, they will give 1 mark. If they have done both right, they will give 2 marks. Which two of the following? Means this is the way they will structure. And most importantly, we should also have a budgeting. Is it? This is the nature, extent and timing of resources. Are you clear about this? Gaita, Mariam, Laila and Abdul Mubin.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay? Revise this.
Yeah.
Revise this. I am telling you this. I will test your understanding, test your how much is there. Inshallah, when we are going to do section, every Saturday you will have question and answer sessions. Every Saturday morning class. Okay. Now, the audit plan. What is you are converting an audit plan? Audit plan converts the audit strategy into a more detailed plan. First, you will have a strategy. Okay. First, you will have an audit strategy. Then you will have a audit plan. Audit plan will be in detail. It includes what are the things. Again, we are repeating. We are not doing anything. We are talking what is the nature, what is the timing, what is the extent of audit procedures to be performed by the engagement teams. How we have to, most importantly, what we have to do, we have to obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence so that the audit risk to be acceptable at low level. Every time you are going for an audit, every time the audit people come to your place, they will write 1, 2, 3 pages of queries always. You cannot say that you just test your own experience. They will come, you don't expect that they will come and say that yes, everything is okay. They will write as a part of the thing, the acceptable low level. Initially the things will be, initially maybe the errors will be high, but later on as the experience progresses, the errors will be less. Okay, this is what it said. Now, when you are doing the audit plan, what we have to think, it is a snapshot. Okay, it is a snapshot of our understanding. What we are talking about, this is the first aspect. Okay, first aspect. The second aspect is you are talking in terms of the right. This is the second one. Okay, I'm just putting the thing. This is the third one. This is the fourth one, and this is the fifth one, sixth one, and seventh one. Whenever you are revising, I'm not saying that you have to depend on that. Just focus on these type of things. It is a flow chart. It gives you a good understanding. Without reading, don't revise this. Nothing will happen. There is no shortcuts. Getting my point? I am telling you very clearly. There is no shortcuts at all. Don't say that we have how much. No shortcuts. The more in detail you will understand, the more it will be easy for us. The more it will be easy. What we are doing, first you have to set the timetable. Then you have to do the process. Then you have to meet the deadlines. Okay. First you have to, most important, you have to set the timetable. Next we are talking about materiality. We have to fix, yes, 5%. Is that overall materiality, performance materiality? How much evidence need to be gathered? When you are talking in terms of the things, then what we'll do, we will think in terms of identifying the areas. Once we find the areas, which areas are having the high risk, which areas are having the low risk. Okay, which areas are having the high risk and which are having the low risk. Once we have identifying the risk, then we'll see what is the materiality factor. If you are identifying, see very clearly, if the controls are effective, is it right? If controls are effective, then definitely it will have impact on materiality. That is one indication. Is it right? That is one indication. Means now, can be controls are effective in every case? No. You have widespread areas to be covered. Is that you have seen some departments are very strong in operations. Some departments, there are some weakness will be there. Is it right? You will have some weaknesses. It happens. You cannot say that all departments will work with the same same effectiveness. Okay. Now, when you are doing the things, if based on the materiality, you will design the procedures. What we have said, if they see when you are having controls are effective or controls are effective if it is yes or it is no. Even it is yes, you will do restricted. Is that you will do restricted procedures. If it is no, you are going to do detailed procedures. Procedures will be there. Is it right? Your procedures will be there. Now, procedures are the substantive procedures. Again, when you are talking about substantive procedures, we will cover. It is too early to say, but substantive, before that, we have to say what are the assertions. It is too early, okay? I will come back to this at a later stage. Is it? We will know what happens. We are going, first we will check the mathematical accuracy. Then we'll say what is the opening balances and closing balances. Likewise, each and every step we will go through it. Each and every step. If things are coming and things are coordinating and things are matching up, definitely it means that risk is less. But if things are not matching up, the values are not matching up, definitely in that case, the materiality will be more, the risk will be more. We will see, once we are doing this, what will happen? We have to take right people, and once we have to right people to use their time properly. Is it? Now, most important thing, what happens in this process, what we are, knowledge of the business analytical review. Analytical review will be in different ways. One of the analytics, see, the purpose of any financial report, any annual report, they will be given for 2 years. One of the conceptual framework, financial framework, qualitative characteristics is you have to make a comparison. And there should be some consistency. The reason of giving information for 2 years is nothing but to analyze. What happened previous year? What happened this year? Is it? What happened previous year? What happened this year? You are analyzing. If I will let you know here only. It will be easy for us in future. What we'll do, you are talking in terms of property, plant and equipment. Specifically, you are talking about plant and equipment. Is it? You are talking in terms of plant and equipment. Plant and equipment, what will happen? See, they say that depreciation has been increased. The depreciation has been increased during the current year. Okay, very specifically current year. You will compare the depreciation with the previous year. When the depreciation increases, this is what you are talking about. Professional way of working, professional skepticism. You are questioning man. If depreciation increases, I told you the same example in the previous case also. I am telling you the same thing. When depreciation increases, definitely there will be opening balance, there will be some additions, there will be some disposals. Is it? There will be some disposals and there will be some closing balance. When the depreciation is increasing, it means we have to compare the last year. What is the depreciation last year and what is the depreciation this year? If the depreciation is increasing, maybe one of the options is there will be some additions that has been happened. Is that? What are the reasons? You can say there will be some additions have taken place. Because of addition, depreciation has been increased. There is another way of interpreting. Maybe they have some revaluation of assets. If you are doing the revaluation of the asset, you have to do revaluation of the asset on a regular basis and you have to do revaluation of asset across all the assets. This is one of the rule of IAS 16. Is that one of the rules of it? Means you have to do it on a regular basis, revaluation. And you have to do in all the assets. You should not be selective. Is it right? You have to do all the assets. Maybe they have done revaluation. Because of that revaluation, the depreciation amount has been increased. Likewise, you have to have a analytical. Always make sure that analytical review comparison previous year. They use this word. Is that prior year? Is that prior year? Means we are in the current year. We have to compare. You have to write. Okay. You should not write previous. I'm not saying that it's wrong. Okay. The moment you will use the same language. Is that same the language? We are giving them a right meaning. That yes, we understand the way it has been happened. Is it right? Now, this is what it says. Is that you should have an analytical procedure. You should know what is the efficiency and effectiveness. Is it right? When you are talking about efficiency and effectiveness, I am telling this. Keep it in mind. I will ask you again and again some way. We have something called as value for money audit. Is that? It is, when we say it is value for money audit, there is a economy, there is a efficiency, there is a effectiveness. This will be there. Understand? When I am saying this I am telling with all my experience. This will be there for 2 marks. Value for money audit. Somewhere I will look at exactly, even I cannot say, but it will be, once we start, it will be there in 2 or 3 places. That is what efficiency and effectiveness. I have added another one, economy. Is that? Now, what in the extreme cases, what will happen when we are talking about the procedures? There is a potential impact of fraud. See, errors, fine. Errors happening, it's a part. You are dealing with transaction. That is the reason they have given us the margin. Okay, that is the reason they say that materiality. They say that it is 5%. It is 1%. Is right? It is 2 to 4% with respect to non-current assets. There is a margin of error, but error can be at an acceptable level, but you cannot come in consideration with respect to fraud. These things we should have a basic requirement. Again, I am saying the basic requirement of planning. When we do any personal activity, we will do a lot of planning. When you are doing a professional activity, we have to be more organized. Is it clear to you all, please?
Yeah.
What we have to include? It is a nature, timing and extent of planned risk procedures. We have to have a description of what is the further procedures we have to do, what is the audit procedures we have to do, what is the assessment procedures, and what the further audit procedures. See, I am using the word assertion level. Assertions will be there in the examination. Will be there at least for minimum if you take it, it will be for 4 marks. Other planned audit procedures required to be carried out for the engagement to comply with international standards of audit. Okay, these are the things which are part of our audit plan. Examples, we are talking about materiality and performance materiality figures. We have to determine, it is the auditor who will have his own judgment. Audit procedures for each account. We are doing what is the procedures for non-current asset. This we are going to cover at the later stage, okay? This we are going to cover at the later stage. Somewhere in chapter 10 we will cover this, okay? Procedures for current assets, procedures for inventory, and procedure for receivables, payables. Is that procedures for payables, procedures for cash and bank? Is that procedures for cash and bank, and procedures for payroll? Is that procedures for sales, purchases? The list goes on and on. Okay, whatever is there in the financial statements, that will be going to be there with respect to procedures. You have the timetable for the audit team and allocation of audit work to specific team members. Fine. Now, when we are talking about what are the documenting changes? A very important part knows that audit strategy and audit plan must be updated and changed as necessary during the course of audit. That's what the strategy talks about. Okay, strategy means you are changing the plan as per the needs and requirements. Yeah, we are changing the plan as per needs and requirements. Everything has to be documented. Okay, everything has to be in written. Any changes we are making, it has to be done. For example, materiality for financial statement as well need to be amended. Some new information will come. Is that some new information? Some new additions will be there. Is that some new additions will be there? Some new projects will be there. Is that some new activities will be there? Some new services have been added. Or that we should not go with the materiality that has been judged at the beginning of the audit. Any new information is coming, definitely the risk element will be little bit higher, we expect. Therefore, any changes to materiality must be documented, must be written. Documentation, I will tell you, documentation is fine. Documentation we are doing to show that what we are doing. Apart from that, the importance of documentation is you are going to share the work. Is it right? You are going to share the work with what? With other team members. It is like a manual. Okay, it is like a manual. When you have the manual, you are doing manual. Here in this case, what will happen? You are updating the manual all the time. Okay, any changes has been done, anything which has been added, automatically it will be shared with the team members. Is that as well as documenting the changes themselves? The reason for any changes must also be documented. If you are doing any changes, is it right? See, this is what happens in every organization. If you have written something and I will come and I will make some changes, I have to make the changes, I have to give justification. Is it? I have to give justification and I have to sign with the date. That's why I have made some justification changes. Is it right? Why I have made some? Maybe because, see, I have experienced something differently, then we should not go with that audit plan. I will change the audit plan. If I am changing the audit plan, I should give reasons why it has been changes. The external audit is rarely carried out during one visit. Is that the external audit is rarely carried out during one. It is very common to carry out an interim audit followed by a final audit. Is that external audit, final? Is that it is an interim audit. Interim audit usually occurs part way during the period being audited. After some time, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Is it? There is no precondition, but we are just after once it happened, every 4 months, 8 months. Is that? Now, what is the purpose of interim audit? Remember this. If there is a possibility, memorize this. Interim audit. Okay? Difference between interim audit and final audit. In the interim audit carried the procedures that are difficult to perform during the end of the year. Final audit is that the purpose is different, the tasks are different, and in the final audit they will say here, if you take into consideration, usually what happens, you have to submit by 30th April. We have to start with 31st December and we have to submit by, but we will not carry till 30th April. Is it right? Most of the time what will happen, we will finish it by 10th of March, something like that. Then we have to submit once we have submit, it's not only audit, we have to get the reports, we have to make a discussions, is it right? We have to make corrections, we have to, if there is any modifications, any event that has been happened, so many things is there. Is that maximum we are going to do it by 10th of March. That is the reason. In final audit, the task is what? There is very specific task. What we are doing in the final audit, we'll cover at the next few slides, okay? We are doing something with respect to the closing balances. Is that we are doing something with respect to what? The closing balances. We'll do something with respect to confirmations. Is it? We are doing something with respect to confirmation with the third parties. We are sometimes, what will happen? We will do physical visits. We are doing this in the interim audit. Simultaneously, in the final audit, we will be more focused. Every month we will get confirmation, okay? Every month we will get bank confirmation. But in the final audit, we will be more focused. 31st August, what is the physical inventory? Very important. 31st August, what is the cash and bank balance? Very important. Is that we have to get receivables. What are the balances from this? For a sample of receivables will get confirmation. For sample of payables will get confirmation. Is it right? That is what? The final audit will have time constraints. The final audit usually happens after the year end. Year end is nothing but the reporting date. Reporting date is 31st December. That the interim audit and the final audit. These questions will be there in section A specifically. They will ask in section B also, but section A. In section B they will ask for 3 marks. They ask for 3 marks, you have to write the difference between interim audit in a tabular form. Understand, Pawan? In a tab, whenever they say difference between, you simply make a tabular form. Some cases you have to match. In some cases you can write as per the requirements. What we are doing in interim audit, the first time we are starting this, okay? First time we are initiating this process in the audit planning. When you are doing the audit planning, you have to think what are the things we have to work out in interim audit. We will take into consideration, we will assess the risk. Is that how we are going to assess the risk? We are assessing the risk with respect to the understanding the environment, understanding the entity, understanding the transactions. Is that understanding the controls? Is that with all understanding we'll see how much we will come to a conclusion. We will see what is the documentation of internal control. As a matter, documentation is in simple words, it is a manual. How it's happening, okay? How it's happening. I will make it a point. We are taking in terms of purchases. Is it? Who will send the request? Who will approve the request? Who will place the order? Is it? Who will place the order? Is it right? Who is going to receive the order? And how it is going to make the payments? Everywhere you will have step by step. This is the reason audit, they say it is difficult. Why it is difficult? You should know first there should be a request, then there should be approval, then you have to place the order, then you have to receive. Once you are placing the order, it's not so easy. You have to know whether there is an approved list is there or not. You have to place the order as per the approved list. Then once you are placing the order, then when you have approved list is there, then you should know what is the prices are there. Approved list with respect to the suppliers, is it right? With respect to the suppliers, approved list with respect to the prices. This is called as a procedure. This is called as a substantive procedure. Substantive procedure starts from the basic and we have to go till the end. If you are making the payments, you have to compare the payments with the bank book also, whether payments has been paid or not. You have to do reconciliation. It not ends with that. You have again what you have to do? We have to do a reconciliation. Whether it has been showing in your books as well as in the bank book. The interior audit is that in detail. Interior audit will be in detail. Documentation of internal control. What you are doing in interior audit, we will see what are the controls are effective or not. In simple terms, if you are saying yes, request, who is placing the request? Is that who is placing the request? The clerk should not place the request. Is that the supervisor, the manager has to place the request. The manager has to place the request, and above the manager, he has to approve the request. In questions we come across that the clerk has placed the request. The salesperson has given the discount. Is that the salesperson has given the discount? Salesperson is not an authorized, approved person to give the discounts. Is that salesperson is not authorized, is that, to give the discount? There the control is not working. Is that is what we are talking about. We are testing the controls. Use substantive audit procedures. Some substantive audit procedures. If you are talking about the substantive audit procedures, this is only a sample and it will be similar to this. It is similar to this, is that, from the beginning till the end. Why students get less marks? The reason I am telling you this, where we have to be very careful. They will say that they will not write in sequence. You miss something in the middle, nothing will happen, but you should not break the sequence. Understand? You should not break the sentence. Request, approval, placing the order, approval list, suppliers, receive. Once you have received, is it right? Then you have to make payment, then you have to do reconciliation. This sequence has to be in order. Then see, as an auditor, what you are doing, you will go and see the sequence. As in the process is working from one stage to another stage or not. That only we are verifying. That only we see, when you are doing this practically, you should always think practically how we are going to do the audit. The same thing it has to reflect in examination. Identify that the issues that may have impact on the amount and type of work which is required for the final audit. You have to see where the things are be under control. Take it in the interior audit. Interior audit, you have the time factor. Time is with you. Whereas in the final audit, time is not with you. In the final audit, you cannot take and say that I am going to work out with the data of 12 months. What will happen if somebody is doing like this? See the thing. If somebody is doing like this, you have lot of transactions, huge number of transactions. Immediately what will happen? What you do, in order to complete it, you will decrease the sample size. If you are decreasing the sample size, it will affect at what? It will affect the materiality. And we are not in a position to find the errors and frauds. That is the reason we are separating a interim audit and a final audit. In the question we will cover this, we will discuss this while doing the questions. There is a difference between an internal audit and a final audit. Interim audit and final audit. In the final audit, you see the thing, what are we are doing? Very specific, okay, very specific. Remember this, understand and remember. You are doing substantive procedures, is that? Selective ones. You will get third party confirmations from the banks. Again, I am repeating the things. You should not have any doubt. The moment we will go again, it should be clear in your mind. You are getting confirmation from the payables. You are getting confirmation from a sample of receivables. Is that? But banks, you have to get confirmation from all the banks. Okay? From all the banks. You are getting confirmation with respect to third party inventory. I told you, property, plant and equipment. You have owned, leased and rented. You should have all the things. That is the third party confirmation. You are doing analytical procedures in terms of ratios. Okay? In terms of ratios. You are talking about if you find anything apart from what is happening, you will extend the procedures. Subsequent events review. What are the subsequent events review? Any event that is happening after reporting date, 31st December. Because you are doing, assume that it is there till what it is there. I will give, there is a plan will be there. You have 30th April. Anything happened, but it is related to the financial year. The item should be related to the financial year. This I will cover in chapter 12. Understand what? This I will have in the chapter 12 when we are talking about the audit reports. If it is related to the financial year, it has to be considered. If it is not related to the financial year, it should not be considered. The auditor has to give. Is it the auditor in the audit report, they have to talk about the going concern. Going concern is the firm will be in operational for the next 12 months. Is that for the next 12 months? So you have to get written representations from whom? You have to get written representations from the management if things are somewhat critical, somewhat significant. Is that? Then first you have to discuss with the management, then you have to get sufficient evidence, then you have to obtain written representations from the management. For any aspect which is of material in nature. Last but not the least, you have agreeing the financial statements with the accounting records. That is where we are going to say that it is going to be true and it is going to be fair. True, when we say it is true, it is based on the facts. When we are saying fair, it is unbiased. Final audit concludes with the auditor issuing a report which contains the auditor opinion expressed on the financial statements only. When I am writing like this, is it right? See, the moment I am sharing the things, I will sharing from the examination questions point of view. They will ask audit opinion. Audit opinion is given only on the expressed on the financial statements only. None other things will be included. Is it clear to you? Yes, Abdul Magid, Gaeta, Mariam and Laila. Are you understanding this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Fine? Now see, my task is easy because first 3-4 lectures, 3-4 chapters, is that? First 3-4 chapters are difficult. Very simple. Now I am telling you, first 3-4 chapters you understand, difficulty for me, not for you, understand? Difficulty for me to understand the jargon, they understand the concept of auditing. Once you understand the concept of auditing, all things will come very easily. Now you see the thing. When you are planning the visit, okay, when you are planning the visit, you will do interior audit. Is it? You will do interior audit. You will not take the interior audit till the end. Slowly, steadily, is that you, if you are start planning the visit, slowly and steadily you will decrease, okay? Okay? Then automatically your final audit process will increase. Is that the final audit process will increase? Now you are doing here what you are doing? You are doing the major part here. Major auditing you will do here. Is that external auditors? Major, you do all the things which are time consuming, which takes lot of time, which talks lot of thinking, which talks about lot of team members to be allocated, need extensive. We will do all the things. Coming to the later part, we have done here in the final audit. What we are doing in the final audit, we are going to be very, very selective. Is it right? We are going to be very, very selective. We are not going to go from the scratch. Is it right? We are not going from the scratch. Again, after some time, I will extend this, the same picture, it will be extended. When it is going to be issued, when the auditors will sign, when the auditors will issue, and when it is going to be published. Okay? There is a timetable is there. This is going to be called as the nature of timing. Read this question, and I have the answer is there. Read the question and read this explanation. Once it is over, tell me it's done. All four. I am reading now. Auditors usually carried out audit work at different stages known as a interim audit and final audit. These are the examination questions. Understand what? Every other question is from the past examination papers. Which of the following statements, if any, is means one or means two? Understand what? Is means one or means two. See, now you will have very close answer. When you are doing MCQs, is it right? When you are doing MCQs, you should think about, see, what is the technique? Is you have to think in terms of elimination. Whichever there is a wrong, first you remove the wrongs one. Then you will come across. First you will have 4 options, then you will have 3 options, then you will have 2 options. Automatically you will come across. Is it? Which one is ever? Carrying out test of control on company's sales dashbook would normally be undertaken during the interim audit. Is it? Normally, what happens? Sales book. Is it right? Sales book. Sales books we are not going to do in the final. What is the final audit? Final audit, you should be very clear what we are doing here. In the final audit, we are not going to do anything with respect to sales books, all that has will be done at the interim audit. Okay, carrying out test of controls on the company's sales book would normally be taken during the period of internal audit. Fine. Next, review of aged receivables to identify balances, closing balances required to be written down or allowances would be normally taken under the final audit. What is there in the final audit? If you take into consideration final audit, we will taking into consideration of substantive procedure. It has not been given here, okay? It has not been given here. But I told you in one of the slides, we also take into consideration what? We'll take into consideration the closing balances. Is that? We take into consideration the closing balances. Aged receivables, ledger. What do you mean by aged receivables? Any idea?
Aging of receivables.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a list shows the outstanding receivables. I mean the pending receivables.
Pending receivables.
Client, yeah, client wise.
On two aspects, based on amount, based on days. Aged receivables, is it right? You are saying that you are going to say that the credit period is 90 days. Now some receivables will be there with respect to 150 days. Some receivables will be there for 110 days. Aged receivables. Aged receivables are those receivables which are beyond normal period, credit period. We have to think what we are doing, why we have to ask, we have to give, we have to get confirmations. Is it right? We have to get confirmation. We have to ask why these aged receivables has been pending for so long. Is it right? This is comes under closing balances. When it comes under closing balances, it is part of the final audit.
So if aging of receivables shows pending receivable for like 150 days, so it means it has been pending for 150 days?
Yes.
It doesn't show like they're expecting to get this receivable within 150 days. It means it's pending.
Pending.
For 150 days.
Pending.
Okay.
It is due for 150 days.
Okay.
Okay. Another area is we will also take into consideration. This is on terms of days. Okay. Sometimes what will happen, you will see who is going to pay the more, from which customer we have to get highest amount. Is that which credit limit will be there? Is it right? Credit limit will be there. Credit limit is going to be how much? Assume credit limit is 100,000. Some customers have they have exceeded the credit limit. They have exceeded the credit limit. It happens. It's they will say that is we will give. Fine. Again, some customers are there whose amount due is 175,000. Whose amount due is 165,000. Then again we have to think about those people also. Is right? Again we think, because see the things, because when we are receivables, is it right? Receivables will be converted into cash. Understand? Receivables. If we are running short of receivables, if receivables are not going to be received on time, definitely we will not have enough cash to continue the business. Is it? We continue the business. If we don't have enough cash to continue the business, then what will happen? There is an issue with respect to going concern. Anything that's happening with respect to cash factor, is right? Cash and bank, definitely it will have impact on the going concern. My only request is, what I am telling you now, remember this, the last 3-4 chapters and the practice papers will be a piece of cake for you. Remember this, revise this, what we are doing. When we are saying I have done this, you should know, yes, we have discussed somewhere in chapter 5. Somewhere, I'm not asking exact page, but you should know, yes, we have discussed previously. Immediately it should come. Saturday you will experience the real factor, how the response will be there. So that you will understand, yes, how much it is important to cover the concepts so that we can do the questions. What it says, they say both 1 and 2. Test of controls usually done in the interim audit. Substantive procedures, final audit. Okay? Now you understand the thing. Test of controls will be done in interim audit. Is that test of controls will be done in interim audit, whereas substantive test work carried out in the final audit. Now you will understand. Is that you will say you will find the difference. What is the test of control and what is the substantive procedures? Is that as they inform the audit approach to be taken. If controls can be relied upon, if controls are effective, then it will reduce substantive work. This is what we have discussed so intensely. We have discussed if the test of controls are effective, the final audit will be easy. If controls cannot be relied upon, a full substantive audit needs to be done. If controls are not effective, then the final audit work will increase. Reviewing the aged receivable for balances require writing down is a substantive audit procedure. Is that, see the thing, the most important, what we have done, just go back to our accounting, okay, go back to the accounting. We have receivables, financial accounting, okay, you have receivables or you have debtors. In that debtors, what you will do, you will make a provision for bad debts. Is that you will do provision for bad debts at the rate of 5%. Sometimes we have not done this. Sometimes what we have done, we will say it is a loss on receivables. Is that loss on receivables? Why we are doing this? We are doing this only to make sure that these balances will be shown in where these balances will be shown on in the financial statement 31st December. Is that? Be clear. It has to be in your mind. Test of controls, interim audit, substantive procedures, final audit. Are you clear about this?
So in the final audit, we're concerned more about the balances, right?
Yes. More about the balances, more about the confirmations. Is it right? Third party confirmation. We are concerned about going concern review. We are talking about written representation from the management. We are concerned about these things. Is that? We are concerned about these things in the final audit. In the final audit, you will not verify vouchers. Understand point? You will not verify vouchers. Vouchers you will verify the basic work you will do in the interim audit. In the final audit, you will not start from the scratch. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Fine. I will stop here. Okay? Is it okay?
Okay.